All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday War Room. I am going to get my screen shared here in a second. Bear with me. Let me get this set up. I always have trouble doing this. Let's see if that worked. Share trading view. Give me 1 second here. Window. How do I do this? It's not a Chrome tab. There we go. I think I got it. There we go. Share. Let me just double check. Make sure that this is able to be seen. Give me 1 second here. Just making sure all is good. Check. All right, so the screen is shared, so that's good. All right, so the screen is shared. Audio is working, and we're good to go. All right, let me make this bigger and make sure that we could see it. All right, so why is that showing up? So there is a, hold on, guys. All right, I think we're good now. Full screen and pull. All right, so it only took 5 minutes, but welcome to the Wednesday War Room, everyone. This is something I'll be doing every Wednesday just to give an overview of what is happening in the markets. And today is a huge day because we have none other than NVDA earnings coming up. And we're going to just start by taking a look at the chart here on NVIDIA because it's going to dictate what is going to happen in the markets here for the next 3 months at least. And you have lots of pressure down on the market right now because of just persistent talk about the AI bubble, and companies are overvalued. The fact that things are stretched technically on the chart, we could see that. We know that we're in need of a correction and that things have to come down. And, you know, we could just zoom out here on NVIDIA and see the run that it has been on since the April lows. And if we just measure that out from that low to the high up there around 212, it's $125 that it's moved up. So it has been pretty significant. And really, NVIDIA is in a position where they have to be perfect in their report or they're going to be punished. And they're going to drop hard. They're going to drop fast. And they're almost in an unfair position because of their success. They're such a strong company. They're super profitable. They're always raising their forward guidance. But because of that, they are a victim of their own success because they're expected to continually increase what they're doing to improve and get better. And I just don't know if they can do that. They're in a really, really tough spot. And it looks like the move will be to the downside. Now, it is NVIDIA. They do have an amazing CEO. They could release some information about demand further down the road, the next 3 to 5 years, that just blows everybody away in terms of what's expected, and or maybe a new chip announcement, some type of partnership, new investments from other countries. It'll take something like that to really push this one higher. And really, NVIDIA hasn't had a massive move to the upside, a gap up and hold on earnings. You'd have to go back to 2024 when it split. Since then, it's been a lot of gap ups, fade downs, or gap downs, chop. So, you know, we'll see what happens. The market's pricing in, I believe, a 7% move right now. And it's sitting at a pretty interesting area. You can see we're right here on the point of control on the visible range volume profile. On this large volume node, we're sitting right here on the 100 daily simple moving average with the 50 right above us. So we're being squeezed in between both of those MAs. And this box that I have drawn here, this really was just a resistance range for the longest of time that we're now coming back down and retesting. And NVIDIA tried to press above that 50 today, got rejected. And so we're just kind of hanging out. So let's see what it wants to do. And upside targets, if this thing can really push, get a big move, watching for 220. And the downside, I think this thing will move hard and fast. I'm watching for their 200 as the first spot, which is 152.18. And if it does come down here, you're going to see the broader markets absolutely dump. They're going to dump. We're going to see the 100 get cut through like a knife through hot butter on the SPX and on the Qs. It will be significant. We will get our 10% plus correction. But I will say this, if we do drop that much, and let's say that we get down here into the 140s, upper 130s, I do think you see buyers come in rather quickly and drive this one up, because that is a really good value for NVIDIA. So that's what I'm watching there. Again, they're going to be reporting at 4:18 p.m. today. So make sure that you're watching. And let's just take a look at the broader markets and see what's happening there. So the SPY, right here, we have a higher high, lower high, double top. This 50 had been serving as a good bouncing spot for the last few times that it was tested, but you could see that we got below it here on Monday, and we have not been able to recover. And there was a push today. We got above the high of yesterday's candle, but weren't able to hold. So the bears are definitely still asserting pressure down on the broader markets. We are nearly oversold on the RSI, and we're very close to that 100. So that 100, let's see if we get a flush into close, if we get a bounce there. But again, if NVIDIA reports poorly, it's going to cut through that 100, and I would not be surprised to see us come down to that 200. Now, that would be a pretty drastic move down. That's 441 points. I don't know if it's going to do that all in one shot, but I wouldn't put anything out of the question, just because everybody is super sensitive right now. There's a lot of fear out there in the markets. So there's a contagion factor that if things dump, you can have everybody panic selling, hitting the sell button, and things can drop very, very quickly. So let's watch what happens. But if they do report poorly, we'll see that 100 get broken, and then we'll probably see a drip lower down into the 200. And then at that point, that would be an 11% correction, and it should set this bull cycle up for another run higher. And that actually, if we got down to the 200, would take us to where we were back in February of this year. So definitely watching that. Taking a look at the Qs, the QQQ tech index. Again, we could see here we're below the 50. Bulls try to press it up again, rejected off that 50. The 100 sitting below us, but below that, not a lot of volume. You have the 200 down here to 543.44, which again, like the SPX, would take us down to the highs where we were at the start of the year. And right now, so far in the Qs, we have corrected 7%. If we come down to the 100, that would put us at 7.8%. And if we were to come down to that 200, that would put us at about 14.76%. So again, we'll see a lot more selling on the Qs if NVIDIA reports poorly. And small caps since the middle of October have just been getting punished to the downside, but they're only down 8.61%. If you go look at a lot of small cap and even mid cap stocks, their charts look like garbage. And so it can get a lot worse there too. But this one is closer to the 200. So poor report, again, is going to put pressure on everybody. This thing is definitely coming down to that 200. That'll be a 13% drop there. And just taking a look at the VIX, you can see that we're spiking here on the VIX. This was the U.S. tariff China candle actually it was this one right here. And then this was a sell-off that we had a few weeks back. So we're pushing back up. The volatility has been high since October. We just haven't dropped significantly. We've been holding in there pretty tightly, but fear is elevated. We'll probably see if NVIDIA reports well and all is good. you're going to see the volatility get sucked out of this market, and you will see this drop. That will calm some nerves. But again, let's see if they do report positively. That's something that we have to watch and see. But you can see we're continuing to just bleed lower here. And let's take a look at a few of the Mag 9, Mag 10, what have you. We could see that Amazon, after that huge gap up that we had on earnings, where it hit a high 258.75, is just given all of that back, right? If we just measure this out to the low that we made today, it's a 15% drop. So it could not hold on to those gains, and really just back down here, range bounding around $220 and some change. Apple has come down and tested this trend line once again, where it's found the bounce. So let's see if NVIDIA reports positively, if this wants to push out here, and if we hit that $300 level here on Apple. Broadcom, AVGO, double top in play, lower high, higher high, got above the 50 briefly today, rejected, sitting on the point of control, nothing below it except for that 100, and you do have a gap fill that would fill its earnings gap from September. So, you know, a lot of topping patterns out there. Thin volume here on the VRVP. Google hit 300 today. So we got the announcement last Friday that Berkshire Hathaway made an investment in Google to the tune of 12 billion. So we did see it break 300, got up to 304 today, but this is a bit of a reversal candle at this high because you had bear step in here, selling pressure. So let's see if this one wants to start to drop. Thin volume down here to about 255. You do have the 50 SMA here, but Google has been super strong. It's been a beast. And then you have Microsoft finally broke below these supports, which I was watching for quite some time right here. These were the lows from September. And then you had a low here from the beginning of November, broke down below that. The 200 is right down below. Look for that as a bouncing spot if Microsoft wants to come down a little bit more. And then we take a look here at Meta. Man, this thing has just been destroyed, and it just keeps going lower. We're making new lows here today, and we do have a gap to fill at 549.55. It looks like that's going to happen. So watch to see if we can get a bounce out of there. And then you do have another gap at 507.66. So keep an eye on those two areas to see if potentially buyers do step in. But Meta not getting a bid, I am keeping an eye on that. Netflix, after it split, still continues to just base out and build some structure around the 200 near these volume nodes. Let's see if it can continue to chop sideways here on that 200, regain it, and then push back up. It typically does get a pop, strangely enough, whenever the new Stranger Things seasons are released. So let's see if we get a move higher here in the next few weeks. And then taking a look at Tesla, we do have this trend line where it has bounced multiple times since April. We're back down here nearly into this range where it built out some support here. You got support on the VRVP. So let's see if it wants to poke through that trend line into that volume and then move out of here. November into December is typically a strong time for Tesla. So we'll have to see if that actually plays out. All right. And then just one last look here. NVIDIA hanging in there at 184, and Bitcoin. Let's just look at Bitcoin real fast. Bitcoin just getting destroyed. Yeah, I mean, we're at the double bottom neckline from the April recovery. Is it going to find some support there? It broke through the $90,000 psychological level. It invalidated this trend line. So even if it does want to come back, we're going to see if it gets rejected there at 94 and rolls back over. Not a good look for Bitcoin, and it looks like it wants to come lower. We might see 87,000 here today before the day is over. And again, one of the other pressures on the market right now is the market makers were anticipating a rate cut coming in December. That seems like it's off the table. It's been priced out. So that's why you're seeing a lot of risk on things like Bitcoin, small caps. You're seeing money flow out of them, and you're seeing these subsequent drops. So, Yeah. So as of right now, market's looking shaky. SPX down 4 points, but it's all going to go the way NVIDIA goes. So we will see what happens. And that is the Wednesday war room for today. And basically what I've been doing here this week is really just waiting for NVIDIA earnings to pass, to get this volatility cleared, see what the next move is, and then from there, go about playing that trend. Everything looks like it's set up for downside continuation until we see otherwise. So that's what I'll be looking for. But never count NVIDIA out. So we'll see. We'll be the bulls or the bears. It's going to be fun. I appreciate you guys joining me here for this first Wednesday war room. I will see you back here next week. If there's anything that I could help you with, just drop it in the comments below. And make sure you check out the Driven series. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And I appreciate you guys. Make it a great day. Honor the moment. And as always, be grateful. Take care, everyone.